Have you ever wondered who makes the rules for our whole country? Today, we're learning about the Constitution, America's rulebook that keeps everything fair. We'll meet three special teams that share power and discover the promises that protect your freedoms. By the end, you'll know how this rulebook helps keep America working for everyone.
Welcome to Goalie's Pip Academy.
What is the U.S. Constitution? It's a written document created over 200 years ago that explains the rules for how our government should work. It tells leaders what they can and can't do, and makes sure everyone, even the president, follows the same rules. Think of it like the instruction manual for a giant video game called America. Without instructions, everyone would make up their own rules, and it would be chaos. The Constitution keeps things fair and working smoothly. Imagine playing your favorite board game with no rules. Someone moves their piece 10 spaces instead of 5. Someone steals money from the bank. Pretty soon, everyone's arguing and nobody's having fun, right? That's why America needed the Constitution. In 1787, leaders of the brand new United States realized they needed a rule book that everyone had to follow. Before the Constitution, things were messy. States couldn't agree. There was no clear leader. So a group of really smart people called the Founding Fathers got together in Philadelphia during a hot summer. They wrote down rules to keep America running fairly. They asked, how do we create a government that's strong enough to protect people, but not so strong it becomes like a bully? Quiz 1. True or false? The U.S. Constitution is like a rule book for America. Think about what we just learned. The answer is true. The Constitution is America's ultimate rulebook, spelling out how government works.
Hey, you're watching Goalie's Pip Academy, where we teach about science, geography, history, everything about the whole world. If you want to watch these classes with no ads, no distractions, go to getgoalie.com.
Here's their brilliant solution. Instead of giving all power to one person like a king, they split it between 3 separate teams. That way, no single person could become too powerful. It's called checks and balances, like having 3 referees watching each other to make sure nobody cheats. Let's meet these 3 teams. First, the legislative branch. That's the lawmaking team called Congress, which includes the Senate and House of Representatives. They come up with ideas for new laws, debate them, and vote on them. Next, the executive branch. This is the enforcing team, led by the president. Once Congress makes a law, the president makes sure it gets followed. The president also commands the military and makes important decisions about how the country runs. Finally, the judicial branch. This is the law-checking team made up of judges and courts, with the Supreme Court being most important. They decide if laws follow the Constitution and if they're fair. Here's the magic part. These 3 branches keep each other in check. Congress makes a law, but the president can veto it, saying, "I don't think that's a good idea." Then Congress can override that veto if enough members really believe in the law. Meanwhile, the Supreme Court can look at any law and say, "This breaks the Constitution's rules," and throw it out. Quiz 2, multiple choice question. How many branches does the Constitution create to share power? Is it A, 1, B, 2, C, 3, or D, 4? Got your answer? The answer is C, 3. The legislative, executive, and judicial branches, all keeping each other balanced. Now, let's talk about the part that protects you. When the Constitution was first written, some people said, "This talks about government's powers, but what about our rights?" Great point! So the founders added the Bill of Rights. These are the first 10 amendments, which is a fancy word for additions to the Constitution. Think of them as special promises the government can never break. The First Amendment is probably most famous. It protects your freedom of speech, so you can say what you think. It protects freedom of religion, so you can believe whatever you want. It protects freedom of the press, so reporters can tell us what's really happening. And it protects your right to peacefully protest if something's unfair. The Fourth Amendment says the government can't just barge into your house without a really good reason and permission from a judge. The Fifth Amendment says you can't be forced to say things that would get you in trouble. You've probably heard "I plead the Fifth" in movies. Can the Constitution ever be changed? Yes, but it's really hard. The founders made it difficult because they didn't want people changing rules whenever they got annoyed. To add an amendment, you need a huge majority of Congress to agree, and then 3/4 of all states must approve it. It's only happened 27 times in over 200 years. Here's a cool fact. The Constitution is actually pretty short. You could read the whole thing in about 30 minutes. The original is written on 4 pages of parchment, which is fancy, old-timey paper. It's kept in that super secure room at the National Archives in Washington, D.C., protected in a special case. The Constitution has helped America grow and change. It ended slavery through the 13th Amendment. It gave women the right to vote through the 19th Amendment. Each generation has used the Constitution to make the country more fair and free. Final quiz. True or false? The Constitution makes special promises to protect our freedoms, like what we can say and believe. Is that true or false? The answer is true. The Bill of Rights and other amendments are like shields protecting your freedoms. One day, maybe you'll be part of making history with the Constitution. Maybe you'll become a lawyer, be in Congress, or even be president. Or maybe you'll just be an informed citizen who votes and speaks up for what's right. That's just as important. Now that you know about the Constitution, look around and spot it in action. When you see a news reporter asking tough questions, that's the First Amendment. When you vote in a school election, you're practicing democracy. You're now part of the amazing story of American government. See you in the next video.
My mind is blown! Where can I learn more about these videos? Oh yeah, getgoalie.com. There's no ads, there's no junk, just cool stuff for kids and a dedicated tablet. Check it out, getgoalie.com.